Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy. And thank you so much for joining me for it. So, the Creative Arts Emmys were held last night, and of those 19 out of the 23 nominations that Lucasfilm projects got that were in the Creative Arts Emmys, only one win after all, unfortunately. It went to The Mandalorian, so they have increased their total Emmy Award count to 15 across 3 seasons. They had 7 each in Season 1 and Season 2. So let's just talk quickly about what went down. So Light and Magic, that documentary series, had been nominated for a Musical Composition Award. They lost out on that. The Kenobi series was nominated for 5 Emmys overall. 4 of them were in the Creative Arts Emmy categories. Specifically picture editing, sound mixing, and fantasy sci-fi costumes. They lost in all 4 of those categories, but they still have one category for which they've been nominated in the main Primetime Emmy Award situation, which is Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series. So still hope there. The Mandalorian had 9 total nominations. They were all in the Creative Arts categories and only had the one win, which was for Best Stunt Performance for Chapter 24, The Return, the season finale of Season 3. So congratulations to Lateef Crowder, Paul Darnell, JJ Dashnow, and Ryan Ryusaki for that very cool win. The categories they lost in included cinematography, hairstyling, non-prosthetic makeup, fantasy sci-fi costumes, sound editing, sound mixing, special visual effects, and stunt coordination overall for a series. Then we have the Andor series. Andor received 8 nominations, of which 5 of them were in the Creative Arts categories, and unfortunately did not win in any of those categories, which included a couple of music composition ones, one for the music for the series and one for the main title, and then sound editing, special visual effects, and cinematography. They still do have an opportunity to earn 3 Emmys at the Primetime Emmy Awards, including one for Outstanding Drama Series, and then Outstanding Directing for a Drama Series for Benjamin Caron, who directed Rick's Road, the finale of Season 1, and then Beau Willimon for Outstanding Writing for the One Way Out episode, which was the finale of the Narkina 5 prison arc. And I'll tell you, I'm in the middle of a rewatch of the Andor series right now. I just finished watching One Way Out just a couple of hours before recording this episode of the podcast, and man, oh man, I really wanted to win, although I do think Nobody's Listening was potentially even more compelling in its way. That was the episode that took place right before it, episode 9 of the series. Anyway, so there you go. Out of the 19 Creative Arts Emmy Award options, only one take home for The Mandalorian in Outstanding Stunt Performance for Chapter 24, The Return, and we'll have to wait until Monday, January 15th to hear how those last 4 categories turn out. 3 for Andor, 1 for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we'll check in with you here on the podcast when we get the results. But for now, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast. If you enjoy what I'm doing here, then I hope you'll consider sharing the podcast with other Star Wars fans and friends that you know or are connected with on social media. I hope you'll consider leaving a rating or a review on your favorite app wherever you check the podcast out. And I hope you will also consider following or subscribing, as the case may be, depending on what they call it on the app that you use. And so it just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the podcast, as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
Star Wars 7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyrighted by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.